Tell me if you recognize what this is, okay?
I know what this is.
You don't know what it is. Oh, wait. There's another box inside. Hold on.
He-Man! For you?
I mean,
It's for me?
well, do we already have that? Yeah. Do you know why I bought a different one?
Why?
Because it has different colors. Is that a good reason? It's just a little bit different shade of green and gray.
I gotta take off my pants.
All right, so yes, we will be taking a closer look at the new Amazon exclusive Castle Grayskull for the Origins line. But this one, the gimmick here is that this Castle Grayskull is done in the original colors, or close to the original colors that were shown in the concept art by Mark Taylor way back in the early 80s. It is basically a reissue of the castle with a couple little additions. One of those two additions is literally the only reason why I bought this, but if you're interested, here is a quick look at the box. If you have the Masters of the Universe original, well, the Origins original offering of Castle Grayskull, it's basically the same thing with a few more characters thrown in, or different characters. For example, we've got Demo Man there. But anyway, let's take a look at the castle itself. And here she is, planted on the real reason why I purchased this. But let's talk about all of it. I gather that almost everybody who was interested in picking this up or picked it up had done so after already owning the original Origins Castle Grayskull. If this is your first pickup of a Castle Grayskull for the line, you didn't make a bad choice. But for those for whom this is like an additional castle to your collection, it's everything that you expect. This is very much a reissue with different paint apps, different color scheme. Do I think it looks better or worse than the other Castle Grayskull? I don't know. I'm still kind of I'm digesting it. Actually, no. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I don't think this is as nice as the other one. The greenish like wash on top of what, to my eyes here in my basement, is kind of like almost like a periwinkle kind of blue-ish gray. But this green wash is really, really bright. It's almost like I say, like neon, which is nice. And again, it's meant to look a lot closer to what the original concept of this playset was from back in the 80s. And for that, it's nice. It's kind of like a deep track, I don't know, iteration for us collectors. But I don't think at the end of the day it's a better looking Grayskull. But I won't deny it. It does look really, really nice. I just prefer the different greens on the other one. The back, what would have been the straw kind of like roofing, is not picked out on this version of Grayskull, and that is kind of a bummer. This actually, now to my eye, is this is super lazy because it is picked out on the other Grayskull, which I'll show right now. So yeah, while this is kind of like a cool effect with the contrast in the color scheme, it just looks lazy compared to this. And on closer inspection, this is kind of like a bummer to me, but if you look really, really close, the application of that neonish green is really like kind of crassly done. It's not within the line, so to speak. That's a bummer now that I look at it closely. And now you can take a look at the differences on the front. The eyes on this are just a stark black, and it's just, there's no gradient to becoming black from the green. Here it's just like a hard beginning of that black paint. And the gate, the front gate, is a little different in that I do much prefer the metallic paint with the latches and the hinges as opposed to this. So we get a different aesthetic, but it's not only is it not as pleasing to me as this, it's not as well done. And before we get to the two big talking points, to me anyway, we'll take a quick look inside. Again, if you have a Grayskull, everything in here is basically the same. The jaw bridge works the same. Your trap door works the same. You've got two weapon racks. You got your training thing, battering ram, whatever you call it. A basic sword, kind of like a bladed staff, which is I think we got this with Scareglow. A gun, I think it's Mosquito's gun. It was probably repackaged with a bunch. And this mace thing that I think we got with, I don't know, Buzz Off. Our elevator works the same. We've got cloth flags hanging here and there. The flag that goes on one of these top platforms, showcasing whoever has got control of the castle. I kind of say these things blasé, like it's not a big deal, but I do have to admit that it doesn't matter how many Castle Grayskulls they come out with, or how many Castle Grayskulls, why can't I say it? How many Castle Grayskulls I have. I'm always happy to get one. They're never like ridiculously priced, so I think that probably plays into it, but I'm always happy with one. One cool little thing they added is the sticker that is the dungeon, or the bottom level of the right side. The sticker they removed, I think it was, who was it, Frogmonger? They removed somebody who was in there and they replaced him with Stingor. His hand, his tail, and his other little pinch are all sticking out there. That's a cool little nod to us collectors. Us modern collectors, I guess. Oh, you also do get a ladder, if I didn't mention that. And yeah, everything in here is what you expect. So let's get this out of the way and talk about the two really interesting things. Firstly, we get a spaceman. Which is great. I think we all wanted this. Everyone who got this got it. A big reason why they got it, I think, is for this guy. This is the stand-in actual figure for the cardboard cutout we got back in the 80s in our original Castle Grayskulls. They also gave us this guy in that, I guess, what was it called? It was called like the Secrets of Grayskull or something, which was an obnoxiously overpriced accessory set that I think was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And this is kind of a retooled version of him. But honestly, now that they're side by side, nowhere near as good as him. I mean, who are we kidding? There's way more paint apps on him, a lot more of an interesting color scheme, an accessory, which is like a plug-in missile, as well as like his legs and his shin armor and everything. That's a different sculpt, or they just kind of, you know, swapped out different parts for him as opposed to him. But everything about the one that came in that special accessory pack is better than this. This is like, again, like a very low effort iteration. I don't think there's really any comparison. The other thing I have an issue with, I know that Motu Origins guys are supposed to be modular. I never did that with my old toys. I don't do them with these, but putting that aside for a second, the modular feature on this guy is too easily sort of put into play. He comes in half, and I really can't get him to stay together too well. Also a bummer. And I would not recommend what this guy goes for on eBay. And if you were to look for that accessory set, is so not worth it. But objectively speaking, like, this is absolutely a better version of our Spaceman. And lastly, certainly not least, and actually the real reason I bought this version of Grayskull is because of this playmat. First, let me get out of the way that I know a lot of people are complaining about like how flimsy this is. To be perfectly honest, after hearing that a bunch of times, I expected this to be worse when I got it out of the box. It is by no means durable, but it's not like a flimsy, worn piece of linen or something that's fraying. I actually really believe that had this been released with the original Grayskull, the quality would have been very much on par. This is what we would have gotten back then too. It's not like they cut corners with the matte, in my opinion. The other reason why I love this thing is because, yes, it's another kind of deep cut throwback to what the original Castle Grayskull was supposed to be included, was supposed to come included with the original castle, was a playmat like this. And I didn't do a lot of research, so I don't know if this is true. But I'm choosing to believe that these sketches and this artwork is basically exactly what was supposed to be on the original version of this playmat, because the style, the colors, like everything about what's going on this mat just screams early 80s. It is kind of, in a weird way, one of the most authentic takes of on a new like collector's item that feels like something that we would have gotten back in the 80s. And I am actually pretty much just totally enamored with this mat. Not so much with this, but I'm probably going to display my my original Origins Castle Grayskull on this mat. I love this thing. Who knows, maybe I'll put my vintage Grayskull on it. We've got creatures and characters galore all over this thing. It really is a beautiful little addition. So it is a mixed bag. There's some good and some bad here, but I have no buyer's remorse. As I said, I'm always game for a new iteration of Grayskull, because it's not a crazy overpriced item in this market. So yeah, I'd say I'm happy enough with it, mostly because of this mat. So that is just my quick take on the new Amazon exclusive Castle Grayskull in the original kind of Mark Taylor style.